Welcome to Little Side Note with Win and
Maya.
today we're gonna talk about COVID coping.
Fun.
Since I'm not in Campbell, so I'm not really sure how Maya's coping, but I've been stuck here in Australia over like a 1 year lockdown. Like when you guys were having fun, I was stuck, and now that you're stuck, I'm having fun. I guess.
So I guess it's like fair now, kinda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks for you guys though because it's like the COVID wave hit when everyone's recovering, like every country is recovering. So you kind of like in this mess while everyone is kind of going up, I guess.
To be honest, I've searched up. There are a few other countries who's having it worse. They haven't had access to vaccine yet.
Oh.
Yeah, there are, and I think Brazil is one of them. Like they do have access, but I don't think it's enough yet. And of course, variants coming up, so it's even harder.
Yeah, yeah.
For us, I don't
So-
think we've been introduced to too many variants. We just had that
Mhm.
one from, I think, Thailand once. I forgot. I just know that we had a few cases of variants that made the spread a lot faster. But overall, vaccines are rolling out. But since the lockdown, no one can go and get their like second dose or anything like that, or like even their first dose. But they are organizing so that the general public has access to it now. Like even the company I'm working at, they actually emailed out, if you need to take the vaccine, please sign up, and we'll go as a company.
Funnily enough, I've read a news. I don't know if it's been changed, but in Australia, the Prime Minister stopped vaccinating for this year. And and it haven't gotten to us normal people yet. They were vaccinating the frontline workers first and old people. And I think now they're still vaccinating people who's over 50. And yeah, we're running out of like COVID supplies, so I don't think I would get vaccinated anytime soon.
Dang. Like my friends in America actually, like the international students that I know actually already got vaccinated. They already finished their second dose too. So it's kind of
I
surprising.
mean, for me personally, I'm not too scared of it because like, Australia is really doing a good job of locking down everything and stopping the spread. Yeah. So how are you coping?
Well, we just received a random video I sent you through Instagram. So, well, what do you think? Okay. So for me, this is not my first time going through a COVID lockdown. So I wouldn't say I'm having it as hard as like when I went through the first one. Because when I went through the first one, I had to balance online school, which I hate. I love in-person class more. I feel like I'm forced to study, but in Zoom, no. I didn't learn anything in my last semesters because I had to like go through that. Plus, my mom's doing a really good job stocking on food.
My mom's losing her mind.
Yeah, the lucky thing is my mom stocked up right before the lockdown. So yeah, and yeah, we were quite prepared compared to everyone else. Because my mom just miraculously had a hunch that okay, today Osai has like 500 people. Tomorrow she thinks that it's not going to be safe, so in the afternoon she moved everything from our Osai office to our office near to my house, and then suddenly 3 days after they announced the lockdown, and my mom was like, whoop, I'm prepared.
I mean, my mom has been prepared since Australia was locked down.
Yeah.
She's yeah, it's a good thing that most of Campbell people are pro-vaccine anyway. You know.
No, actually, people from the provinces are against vaccines.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is it
so
like conspiracy theory stuff, or it's just
I think
like
I'm not sure, but like generally the people that like stay with me, the kind of like mates, I don't know how
mhm
to phrase it.
mhm
I don't
mhm
want to say it in Khmer, so that I have to translate later on.
mhm
So like the people who stay with me, they are like they've been vaccinated, but when they tell their family in the provinces, their family was like, "Why do you get vaccinated? That's stupid." But
mm
people in Phnom Penh would definitely go for the vaccine just because, you know,
mm
everything going down. So many people, 500, 600 people almost
yeah, man,
daily,
it's
dude.
wild.
And considering our small population, it's crazy. I think we are at 18 million, the entire
I'm not sure. The
country.
last time I checked was 14.
I remember last time I checked was 17.5.
Uh,
So, I'm not
it's
sure.
I
Well,
think this is the first time Campbell is on like a hard lockdown. Usually,
yeah,
the lockdown is just like mandatory isolation, but you can still go out and stuff like that. But now they're also locking down, like kan by kan. I don't know how we're gonna translate kan, cause
like district, I guess, small
district, I guess.
districts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not entirely Cambodia. It's just
Mhm.
Phnom Penh and Kadal.
Mhm.
But within Phnom Penh, it's like drawing strings to block off every major road.
Mhm.
Some very common or widely used small
Mhm.
alleyways,
Mhm.
and police being stationed there. So it's like quite hectic, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Mm.
Back when I was under lockdown, we also had pretty much the same thing happening. The borders from every state is closed,
Mhm.
and we also had a mandatory like we weren't supposed to go out from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning.
Mm.
Like we can still call like delivery stuff, but we couldn't go out. If we go out, we will receive like I think it was 1,000 something fine.
Mm.
And oh my god, the city was so quiet. Like nobody's here. And I think you also can't travel with public transportation unless you have like a permit as well.
Mm. Yeah. So, for here, because the lockdown was such in a rush,
Mm.
and everyone heard news of it before it got announced,
Mm.
it's super crazy on the fact that, yeah, they initiated the lockdown. They closed the roads, like put like strings blocking off the roads,
Mhm.
but they didn't have clear guidelines and infrastructure set out yet. Like for instance, like what are the travel restrictions? Like
Mhm.
even food delivery in the beginning, a couple of few days, they actually didn't have access to deliver food.
Mm.
And it's like it's all just mixed up. Over there I'm pretty sure it's like, oh, if you're a restaurant worker, um a cook, you can definitely go to
Mm.
work
Mm.
because it's necessary. People need the food. If you're a
Mhm.
working for a transportation application, then you're
Mhm.
allowed to go to work. But here it's so blurry to the point where when I was trying to deliver something to my aunt's house, I
Mhm.
opened Grab and there were no tuk-tuk drivers that can do it.
Oh.
There were no tuk-tuks or delivery motorcycles, and from what I heard, there was a confusion with the police. This is I don't know
Mhm.
if it's true or not,
Mm.
but this is just what
Mhm.
I heard.
Mhm.
Like there was a confusion with the police officers. Like when the head of police was announcing what vehicles to stop
Mhm.
and what vehicles to let through, he was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, you can let through any delivery services, for instance, Food
Mhm.
Panda." But then
Mhm.
there was a miscommunication where everyone thought that only Food Panda is allowed to go through.
Ah, I
So
see.
stuff like Nham Pai Buon, Grab, Move were all
Mhm.
stopped before like they talked and then they let them go. So the delay
Mm.
was like huge, traffic everywhere.
Mhm. I gotta complain about something though. Like I'm not sure if it's true.
Yeah.
But I've seen Facebook posts that some people exploit the delivery app just to drive around, like just to get through like protocols. Like, don't exploit it, dude. They're like, we're in lockdown for a reason. I know that Campbell doesn't have the resource and the money to sustain the economy, right?
Yeah.
But if you're spreading like 500 a day, you know, like that's gonna damage the economy more than staying at home.
How do you explain that to Pumato Dopto?
It's a bit difficult because there's no clear solution of really how to help people, you know, like in Australia there's a thing called I think job keepers. So if you have a job and if you cannot come to work, as long as you have that thing, you will get like a, I think it's 2 weeks salary or it's a month of salary. But I know that Campbell can't really do that, so I can see why people are so like hectic to get a work and stuff like that, because of course like you still need to make money during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the pandemic, when it hit and everyone else was going into lockdown, there was, I think, a high rise in unemployment, right? And those
Yeah.
are big countries that could still somewhat sustain their economy.
Yeah.
Campbell, it's a whole different story.
Yeah. Like at one point I'm kind of like, people need to calm down, you know, and lock down, but then at the same time like Campbell can't sustain like this, you know.
Yeah. The good thing is the provinces, which are like the areas that are most rural, they're still in operation. But the capital is like most majority office workers and people who are trying to make it out of poverty and coming to the city to make a better living are being stripped of those chances now. Since, yeah.
Wait,
And-
how many days are you guys under lockdown?
They said it's 14, but I think it's gonna be at least a month. Cause, like, dude, the numbers are not dropping like at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It reminds me when I first got a lockdown here, and they're like, it's fine, just another week, and then it turned into a whole freaking year.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe 3 months max, just cause they cannot sustain it over 3 months.
Yeah.
For right now, I've heard news that the Prime Minister is trying to gather more funds from other countries and the World Bank, but we're having a hard time. So, yeah. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't, like, because...
I wish there was a system where... Oh, I don't want to talk about politics, man. I wish there was a system where it's like May Can or May Pum or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, try to get donation or like try to set up like a donation, and then people can donate to that kan, and then the manager of that kan can kind of like, you know, distribute it family by family. But oh my god, I don't think
From what I've heard, they're trying to get a list down, so they're gonna distribute it to the rural house, like places like apartments first, because it's just easier to do it in bulk.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it by house. And on that point, first off, you already know how corrupted Campbell is. The likelihood of him snatching that fund for himself is very high, or embezzling. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The other thing is, it's, dude, like, I don't know, dude. I really question if it will work, just cause.
Yeah, true. And thinking about it, like, you know how in America, in Australia, you have your own address and your own like post stuff, like
Yeah.
your own PO box or whatever.
Yeah.
But in Camel, we don't have that.
Yeah.
So we don't really know who's staying where and what. You know, sometimes there's like this whole building and there's like 3, 4, 5 families.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean it's just a kind of like a suggestion,
Yeah.
but I doubt it'll kind of work out smoothly. And we can't even like let people line up and try to get donations either, because that's how COVID spread, you know, by people being together.
Yeah. It's hard, dude. It's hard. But I have in Khmer New Year, I did see a few people who did post on Instagram that they're doing donations and stuff. But of course, they can only do it for like a few days, and it won't last out for like entire 2 weeks. Imagine
Yeah,
lockdown being even longer.
yeah. I feel bad for not having ABA in Campbell. Like, I
Oh.
don't have a bank in Campbell.
Dude, I have an ABA, but because I had to transfer it everywhere, like I have another bank account in another bank, but only ABA is the one that can do like instant mobile banking. So I've been using ABA. Right now my account is drained, and even though I have cash, I cannot put it into the bank so that I can continue wire transferring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another problem is Campbell uses cash. In Australia, we also had a thing where some business only accept card, because you know we have the tap thing.
Yeah.
So we just have to tap the card and then
Yeah.
the transaction goes. So yeah, using cash is.
From what I've heard, people are using more card, and I just came back and I'm just still not accustomed to it. Plus, I have very limited access to going outside. The majority of the time, yeah, I still use cash, but it's a hard transition from a place where we're so based on using cash, and then to quickly turn it into card. It's like young people, yes, it's fine, but like my parents, like they're still using like cash majority of the time.
It's true. Oh, on a lighter note, did you learn any new hobbies?
So like the last time that I went under lockdown, I picked up ukulele last time. Didn't progress much, and then I ended up leaving it in America with my cousin. And I came back. This time I'm picking up guitar again. So yeah, hopefully I can go through it. Same.
Yeah, for me, I joined like a volunteering organization, and we get to make friends, right? Like we were on the Zoom call like every single day,
Yeah.
talking about stuff, even drinking in Zoom calls together. Yeah, it only got till the end of the year that we actually get to meet each other, but it was a fun experience. Like, if you're stuck in lockdown and don't know what to do, join our Discord.
Yeah, I've been thinking like we should probably schedule more Discord calls. I don't know how busy you are nowadays, so.
The assignments are piling up, but I mean, I can still do Discord calls, but I'm not gonna be in there as long as I was like in the first call.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe we'll discuss this off recording later on. Like maybe we'll set like maybe a day or two of the week, just so people could join a Discord call if whenever. Yeah. Any other suggestions for a new hobby? Because I'm like.
So I did study the ukulele, and it didn't really work out for me either. Like, my fingers are too chubby and too short for the strings. And I don't know, like when I try, like whenever I remember a different strumming pattern, it never works. I stick to one strumming pattern, and it's so frustrating. Like I learned all the chords, blah blah blah, how to how the songs goes, but then my brain was like, nah, you need to use that one strumming. So yeah.
Oh, another thing that started because of lockdown was like me going on TikTok, and now it's like a habit.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we also played Among Us
Oh yeah,
during
Among
our
Us a
lockdown. Oh my god!
lot.
And now they're having a new map.
Yeah, I haven't explored the new
Perfect
map.
time. Yeah, I haven't either. I'm just waiting for an opportunity where everyone's back together again, so we can kind of play. Because you know, Australia now is not under lockdown, so we usually see each other outside more.
Yeah.
So we don't sit and play games.
Yeah.
we see TAG.
Yes, yes.
And another game I picked up is Valorant. So for people who are interested in playing with me or teaming up, I'll drop down the IGN. Okay, I can say it now. It's I'm playing OCE server, so yeah, it's 0 capital Z E R and number 0, and my hashtag thing is 0407. I think it's fine. I'll link. I put it in the subtitle somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other stuff during lockdown. I know a lot
Fall
of people
Guys.
picked up cooking, but since we have limited access to food, I highly do not recommend it.
Yeah, I didn't do much cooking. It got me lazy in the lockdown. I'm like, cook, clean, Uber Eats.
I actually listened to a lot more podcasts because I was like, oh, I'm gonna clean, that I'm gonna need something to listen to, so I did listen to more podcasts and music, of course. Other than that,
yeah, time to plug our podcast.
Yes. Please listen when you clean, when you walk, when you're bored in your class. Feel free.
Yeah, I did actually. At first, like, I knew podcasts existed for a while, like, but it didn't take off until I think now. I only started discovering podcasts as well when I was in lockdown.
Oh, I was listening to podcasts since like 2 years ago, because The Drive and my marketing professor was very persistent in making everyone try to listen to this thing called The Daily, where it's pretty much like summarizing the important news. It's by the New York Times. So it's like quite nice where I don't have to read the news. I just listen to it while I drive. And the other professor who literally shoved this down our throat was my econ professor, where he made us listen to Planet Money specific episodes to show how economics works in our lives. And then he actually has like a 5-question quiz every other day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like that started the habit.
Yeah, when I discovered podcasts, it's because of Reddit. So watch a TV show called Gentleman Jack. It's a gay TV show, by the way. Go watch it. Yeah, it's from Gentleman Jack. It's based on a real person, analyst that was in the 18th century or something. Yeah, go watch it. It's on HBO, or you can just pirate it. I don't care. And I went onto this subreddit about it, and then there was two podcasters. And then they posted something on the subreddit saying that, oh, they're doing like a podcast about the TV show, which is Shipton After Dark. And then, yeah, that's how my journey of podcasting started. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know podcast was this good.
I have to agree. It's like, I feel like podcast is like a hit or miss. It's like YouTube videos, I feel. Like, some people vibe with you, some people, their content just doesn't. So, I mean, fair game, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I like podcasts is, like, you also get to learn something new, I guess. And at the same time, there's a lot of like variety of podcasts. You can just listen to anything. There's literally everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for instance, I listen to My Favorite Murder, where it's pretty much narrating all the most interesting serial killings in the world. And then there's another one I listen to. It's I Weigh with Jamila Jamil, which is just her discussing about hardships of being a woman, an actor, and being discriminated because she's also an African American.
Also, you should watch The Good Place. She's in there. So nice, so good.
Good Place, so good. Mm-hmm.
So good. What else did I pick up? I didn't do a lot of coding, by the way, surprisingly, because it's my course. I don't want to learn. But after COVID, I kind of did change how I lived. Like, before COVID hit, I was usually outside all the time. Like, I've never gotten to sit down and stay at home for a long time. And now, whenever I go out for like 1 hour or 2 hours, I'm like, can we go home? I just want to relax.
After I escaped my lockdown and I came to the freedom of Cambo, I did kind of miss like having some alone time to myself to process everything. Because when you're in lockdown, you're kind of stuck with your family, and because my parents can't really work as much as they were doing before, they've been bothering me a lot. Like my dad would come into my room randomly and ask me to translate WHO 5-6 minute introduction of the new vaccine, how it's working, all that stuff. And I'm like, can I just not? I know it's like 5 minutes, it's short, but it's really boring. Where compared to where I can just go through an Instagram page of WHO and then they list out the most important bullet points in the caption, I'm like, it's not worth it.
I feel like our attention span is less now.
Yeah, a lot less.
TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok, dude, okay, TikTok is short already. But even for TikTok, I would be like, okay, for 3 seconds, not good, swipe.
Yeah, same. And sometimes people just talk too much in their intro. I'm like, no, dude, show me the thing.
My attention span got so bad to the point where before I was able to finish a 300-page book in like 2-3 days. Now
I'm trying to get diagnosed with ADHD at the moment. Like, I just feel like it's gotten worse. So yeah, once I get a hold of a therapist, I'm gonna update you guys. Yeah. What else did we do? We did a lot of things, right?
I feel like for me, my first lockdown was, I can't go out, so I snuck out. Not a good choice here in Cambo situation. It's a different story. But in US, where it was like, you're not exactly forced to stay in, you're just recommended to stay in, and people did take that recommendation seriously. But I just, like, my friends would, because they're like 5 minutes away, my friends would come to my house, like pick me up, and then I'd go to their house and eat hot pot.
Nice.
And then they drop me back before my uncle gets back from the shop, and then it'll be like, I've never left the house.
Surprisingly, I didn't watch a lot of Netflix. I actually picked up books instead, which I still do now. Oh my god, it got so bad that my girlfriend was like, go to sleep, stop reading. Because I need to say this. There's a thing called revenge procrastination, where
I've heard of that.
It's like at night, it's your free time, it's your alone time, you just want to relax, everyone's sleeping, nobody's there to bother you, you're doing what you're doing, and you don't want it to end. So you stay up all night, and then you regret it later. And that's me, because I like having alone time. Like, where everything is just like quiet and still and peaceful, and that's the only time I get at nighttime.
Okay, that's the thing that I discovered. I actually quite enjoy alone time more than I thought. Like, although I'm usually at a fast reply, like, if you guys text me, I would like reply instantly. But I think that's just my way of my brain trying to like get rid of any more distractions. And of course, I really hate notifications, so I always like reply to every single person instantly. And then nowadays that I am like, I'm working from home and I'm also balancing somewhat my parents coming in and out of my room asking me to do this and that, I get really annoyed. Like, I miss like pure alone time where like, replying to messages is okay, but if like too many people reached out to me at the same time, I have this anxiety that I need to reply to everyone, and then they keep replying back, and I'm like, oh, I'm juggling 5-6 conversations at the same time. This is like, I'm gonna die. It's so frustrating. I'm getting so annoyed.
Right? Like sometimes I feel guilty. Like, my relationship is good, my friendship is good, but I still want alone time, you know? Like, sometimes I just want to be alone, you know?
That's fair.
And oh, remember the TikTok I sent you today? And it was like, the girl's like, nobody told her that, like, not being in a toxic relationship is so boring.
So boring.
And so peaceful.
I agree.
It is though, like,
it really is.
I don't have drama. Like, my life is so boring.
Okay, here's the thing. I've realized that our friend circle, we all live under the rock. We don't know most of the gossip. So our lives are very boring, but whenever we find out about one gossip, it spreads like wildfire. But majority of the time, it's like we cope through different ways of filling in that necessity of needing gossip. Like, you and our other friend, like, two of them tend to read a lot of novels, whereas I tend to binge watch a lot of Korean dramas and movies.
It puts a lot of high expectation in a relationship.
Well, I sure do hope my next relationship is not a toxic one, though. So I will have to say. If you feel
bored, then it's not toxic.
Okay. I have to say, though, I do hope that my next relationship is my last, because I'm so bored of dating right now, dude. I'm just like, I just want to settle down.
It's so funny, though, because the relationship I have right now, like, we're going into 3 years this year. Our honeymoon phase was so short. Like, so short. We got, like, we were, like, domesticated, like, so quick. And I don't know, I just like it because I can just say or do whatever, and then she's like, yeah, okay.
That's nice, though. That's so healthy.
Yeah, no judgment.
I do kind of wish that, okay, because, like, the honeymoon phase is, of course, like, the most fun, most exciting stage. I do wish that my next relationship's honeymoon stage would be a lot longer than before. And yeah, of course, no filtering is pretty good. I like the no filtering, but I don't think that it necessarily seems like it's just because you're doing, like, you have no filter with them doesn't mean you're out of the honeymoon stage. Like, I do feel like you guys are still somewhat in the honeymoon stage, just from what I preserve and what I see. I'm like, oh, the sweet little gestures and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, they're not out of the honeymoon stage. that is not, like, no.
Oh, another thing I want to touch on, this is an off topic again, is I don't know how Campbell people don't like it when girlfriends or boyfriends stays together. Like, okay, this is controversial in Campbell, at least, because I talk to other people, they're like, fine. Like, so when you're dating and when you don't see each other and don't live with each other, You never know who that person is once you live with them. So
I totally agree.
yeah. So I feel like moving in with your partner,
Yeah.
even like short term, kind of
Yeah.
tells you what kind of person they are. Some people when they're like trying to court you and stuff like that, they're like super nice. But then when they actually like marry you, then you actually see the abuse. So I think that living with your partner before marriage is a good thing. Like you can set boundaries of whatever, like don't do it until like after marriage or something like that. But yeah, living together is more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah. Like, I definitely do see that. I have had this discussion with a few people before. Like, okay, first off, something to get out of the way is like, of course, when we're in front of family, when we're in front of friends, we behave differently. And that goes the same for when you're trying to attract someone. When you guys are dating, when you don't have the energy to hold that persona anymore, the difference shows. And although most of the time when I'm in a relationship I don't mention it, I do notice it. Can't say that I really like it. Most of the time I don't. But I do wish that in a relationship you should have a like trial phase where you're trying to move in together, see each other's living habits. Like, for instance, what if on the first night of my marriage I just found out that my husband snores very, very loudly, and I can't fall asleep with that.
Or even like discussing how when you're like buying a house or what furniture you want, like there's a lot of conflict.
Okay, the other thing is cleanliness. For instance, like, if the guy does not clean up after himself on the toilet, like his pees everywhere, I'm like, bitch, bye.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have to know, like, what if they look good like outside, like in real life, nicely dressed, but then their whole house is like super dirty, then you know
It's like,
it's like
will you
you're selling a
compromise it?
fake product, you know.
Yeah. Like, are you okay with those habits? Like, of course, some people are okay. They meet in the middle where they try to be like helpful and clean and do stuff together. But sometimes it's more like, what if you have hard nose? And sometimes you don't even know they're hard nose until you saw them.
Yeah.
So, okay, with that, I would like to end our podcast because we are a little bit over time now.
Yeah, I think without the subtitling,
we're
okay to go.
Very carried away.
I do enjoy talking on a podcast, and whenever we have to end the episode, I get frustrated because there's so many more stuff that I need to talk about. But then I look at my phone, I'm like, wait, it's past our time.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff we like to talk about, but attention span is hard.
So definitely join our Discord.
It's on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're gonna wrap up this episode. So, as always, any advice for the people who stuck in quarantine?
Just try to stay sane, and please don't run out. You're not doing anyone a favor. Neither are you helping yourself with that. I want to go and eat bhajjian again. Please stop.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was stuck in a lockdown for a whole year, and I mean, use your time to do good things. Like, you don't have to do something spontaneous as doing something. Just make new friends, or even pick up a new instrument, or try to learn something, I guess. Find a new hobby. And yeah, definitely don't run out of your house. No. Yeah, so you can follow us on our Instagram, which is at Little Side Note Podcast, and our Facebook and YouTube is Little Side Note the podcast, and our email is littlesidenote@gmail.com. You can email us anything you want, even memes. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.